Hi kiddos, welcome back for our final saint of the year. So this is the 35th doctor of the church. She is the most recent, that means the closest to our time, and she's my favorite of all the doctors because she's actually my confirmation saint, okay? So this saint's name is Saint Therese of Lisieux. I have a statue of her because she's one of my patrons, so she's in our house. And you'll notice she's always carrying roses and a crucifix because she loved Jesus, she loved suffering with Jesus, and she always said that she would spend her heaven doing good on earth, and she often gives the sign of roses, okay? So here's what happened. She had a really lovely mom and dad who are actually both saints now as well, and they wanted to enter religious life. So her mom wanted to be a nun and her dad wanted to be a priest, but God was calling them to something else. So they got married and God blessed them with 9 children and 5 of them survived. Okay, back then sometimes babies, a lot of times babies would die when they were little. And so 4 of them died, but 5 of them survived, and all 5 of those girls went on to be nuns, all 5. So the mom and the dad didn't get what they wanted, what they thought they wanted, but God had another plan where all of their children who lived on earth would get to go into religious life. So the last of these was called the Little Queen by the dad, and that was Saint Therese. And her mom died when she was 4.5, but her big sisters helped take care of her. And since they were all called to be nuns, they were also quite holy. Okay, so her oldest sister taught her how to pray well, how to sacrifice, and how to be obedient. And then she went off to live in the convent, and Therese was very sad. Okay, but deep down, Therese had this desire to be a missionary. She wanted to go to these lands that hadn't learned about Jesus and tell them about Jesus. But God was calling her to something else. Okay, so she asked to join a Carmelite monastery when she was very young. She was actually too young to become a nun, so she went and asked the Pope for permission, and he gave it to her. So she got to enter the convent much younger than most girls would, okay? And this was all part of God's plan because she actually ended up becoming sick and she died when she was only 24 years old. So her time in the convent was really blessed in that she got to have that vocation fulfilled, but she suffered a lot. She was sick most of the time, okay? Here is why she's a doctor. So she taught us what we call the little way. Saint Therese said, I can't go out and be a missionary for Christ. That's not what he wants from me, but I can be a missionary of love right here in my own convent. So she says, all the little things that happen, I am going to do them for Jesus, okay? So she says, if someone corrects me and tells me I'm doing something wrong, I'll just say, okay, thank you. Do it for Jesus. If someone's annoying me, like tapping and making a sound I don't like, or taking something that I wanted, instead of getting upset about it, I just say, I give it up for Jesus. Or she says, if I get told to sweep the floor, I sweep the floor for Jesus, okay? So she did all these teeny tiny little things for Jesus. She never complained about them. She said, I can be cheerful on the outside, even if on the inside I hurt. So it doesn't mean that your heart is happy when someone does something you don't like, okay? But it means instead of whining about that or making a big deal, you keep that hurt inside of you and you give it to Jesus, and on the outside, you stay happy. So this was St. Therese's little way. And this made her a doctor because everyone can do it. You don't have to do big things. You don't have to go save all the souls in China, okay? You don't have to become the Pope to be a saint. She says you can do this no matter where you live. And one beautiful example I loved is that she'd be at Mass. Have you ever been at Mass and maybe there's a baby crying and it's really hard to pay attention, okay? Instead of her getting upset or being distracted, she would just start to pray for that person. She'd pray for the mom, she'd pray for the baby, okay? So she'd take little things that could distract us and turn them all into prayers. Turn them all into gifts of love for Jesus. And this is Saint Therese. So here she is. We're going to draw a picture of her quickly, okay? I wrote her name in print and cursive. There we go. Saint Therese of Lisieux, okay? And then we're going to draw her. Now, I'm going to draw her with her roses everywhere because, like I said, she loves to give the sign of roses here on earth. So sometimes people ask her for something, and she lets them know that they have an answer with roses. And this happened to me once. It was so amazing, okay? So we're going to draw her in her Carmelite habit like this. We're going to give her her face, okay, just like the letter U. And I'm going to go across the That's the little white part of her habit. Okay, and then we're gonna go, let's do her neck next. Neck, neck, down, down. Okay, so there's that. Then we put on her veil, and their veils are black in the Carmelite order. Okay, so she's got this little band of white up here, and then black. Such a beautiful, happy face. She lived to be cheerful. Okay. And then we'll put her in her Carmelite clothing. So her habit is brown, and then they have a cream colored part at the top. It's like a little cape, okay? So we'll put on her cape. And then down here, they would have rosaries around their waist sometimes, okay? Because the Carmelites are in order for Mama Mary, which is perfect since it's the month of May. And her feast day is actually in October, which is another month of Mary. Okay, and then maybe I'll just have her arms coming across like this. 2 little pancakes. So I've got them coming out under there. And then I'm just gonna load them up with flowers and a crucifix. Okay, I'll start that. Okay, you can put in even more. I'm just gonna get it started so you guys can see. Okay, and then you can color in beautiful Saint Therese. So colored flowers. This part's brown. This is a cream color, which is a light white, and then this is black. All right, that is your final doctor. You have learned all of the 35 main teachers of the Catholic faith. That's it.